Hi, Jen.
Hey Ray, how are you?
I'm wondering about this SIBME thing that we've been asked to do with our clinical practice students. Can you sort of tell me what it is?
Oh, I would love to, yes. So SIBME is a platform that we're using to video our students who are in clinical practice and field work because we believe that the more the student watches themselves teach, the better they become. SIBME stands for Seeing is Believing Me,
Ah, so I would go to the login button,
correct?
maybe. There we go.
When you
And am I going to have a username and password?
yes, so there will be one and it's assigned to you through the university in SIBME, but if you scroll down to sign in with Google, you
Yes.
can sign in with your Point Loma email. If your name doesn't just pop up like Ray's did, you can type in the first letters and it should.
Okay, so here we are, and we have workspace, huddles, and video library. What do I do?
Right. So as an supervisor, you're going to be able to see all of these things. And the workspace is the place that you can keep all kinds of different things. I had one professor tell me that they loved for the students to upload their daily lesson plans there.
Oh,
It can be an article you might want a student to read. It is just your space to share whatever you want to share or hold on to something for later.
so if I have three students, am I able to make folders in my workspace for them to put
You
their things in?
you absolutely could,
Ah,
yes.
that's a great idea. Okay, so, but we're going to go back,
Yes.
and there's this thing called huddles.
Right. Huddles is your and your student space that you share everything in between. It's almost like you, if you had a Snapchat account, this is what that would be like. It's in between just you and whoever your coachee is, and no one else will see that unless they have admin privileges.
So I have some ones that we played with a little bit, but
Sure.
this was my clinical practice student. Her name was Christy Kirk, and so I created a huddle for
Mm-hmm.
her.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we should make a new huddle. And we have coaching, collaboration, or assessment. I'm clicking on
Coaching always.
coaching. And the huddle name, when I do the participant, it'll make the name their name, correct? So if I type in my clinical practice student, my student teacher, Danny McCarthy,
Mm-hmm.
it changes the name up here to Danny McCarthy.
That's right. So it automatically names it, which makes it easier. Just remember, you have to build a huddle before your students can see anything.
Okay. And then down here it says, I'm the coach, he's the coachee.
Correct. And that means that you can interface with each other through the coach and coachee
Okay.
designation.
So what happens next? I've got this huddle for him.
So now you're going to tell him to go to SIBME, and I like to tell my students to go to SIBME on their iPhone or their phone because they can video right from their phone, and if they download the app, then it's all just right there, and it does upload right to the SIBME platform.
So they're going to video their classroom,
Their lessons,
their
three
lesson,
lessons, yes.
and it'll come right in here.
Yes,
Okay.
so out of supervisors are going out for clinical practice 5 times. They might be going out for an intern 4 times. So we're either going to, out of the 5, we're going to do 3, and we've chosen to have them do the middle 3, or if they're interning, we're having them do the middle 2.
On SIBME.
Correct.
So the first one and the last one are face to face.
Correct.
Okay. So they're going to video themselves and they're going to, or their lesson, and they're going to put it up here. How long does the lesson need to be?
The lesson should take as long as it takes them to complete a lesson, from 25 to 55 minutes.
Okay. So let's go back here because we have some fake ones put in here because Dan hasn't done his yet. But we have a video here that Jen and I did, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I click on this. And this would be as if you, Jen, were my clinical practice student. You would have
Right.
put the video in here,
Right.
right? So what do I do next?
So when the video's in there, then you're going to have your student annotate that video. So if they press play on the video, then the video should start playing. If you scroll down, press pause. So when I stopped it, because when I talk and that's talking, it might be a little distracting because our
Yes.
voice is the same. But when you start typing normally in the new comment box right there where the cursor is hovering, the video will automatically pause and you can make a comment and then come back to it.
Let's go back to the longer video that we have there,
Okay.
because then we can try it. Play. So I would go down to the comment.
Yep.
And
Click the red button to start recording.
now it didn't stop.
You can tap the bookmark icon
Hit return.
to help remind you where to insert a timestamp comment after recording.
So it goes right in where you started typing.
To help reduce
But the video kept going.
once the video stops, insert a timestamp. Click restriction. Click the
And now it
red
won't
button.
stop. There we go. But it does show up here that at the 10-second mark, I put this is a nice beginning to class. So
Right.
you'll stop the video or it'll pause, like
Right.
we said. And then there's these words up here. What do those mean? Bright spot, idea, question, relationships.
So those are each of the areas that we want you to focus on when you are watching the video. So a bright spot might be something you see that they did really well, and you just want to say, hey, good job on that.
Okay.
The idea might be a place where you say, hey, if you try using a token economy in this situation, you might have got a better response.
So out here, it's saying that my comment showed a bright spot.
Mm-hmm.
But if I did this, I didn't have a comment for it. It would put a blue dot out there
Yes.
with the comment here,
Correct.
meaning that here's an idea for you.
Correct.
So it's sort of categorizing the responses for the student.
Right. If you have questions, I tell all my students, I'm going to ask you questions using the question box. You need to answer those questions every single time.
And where do they answer those questions?
Right back here in SIBME.
Okay.
They just can click right there, right where the question is asked, and start typing it. Will answer them.
So the candidates are doing the annotation the same exact way.
Correct.
And they're doing that before they put it into SIBME?
That's correct. No, actually, that's not correct. Sorry, they upload to SIBME, and then they have to go in the same day and annotate that video.
But it's before I see it.
Yes, you will not comment on it until they've annotated it.
Okay.
The other place that you're going to want to make comments is in the framework. If you'll click on the framework, those have all the TPEs. So if you clicked on engaging and supporting all students in learning, then that next comment's going to fall under that category, and you might want to say, hey, I really like how you high-fived all the kids when they walked in today.
Okay.
So
would you do these along with the bright spot
yes,
and all of that?
Yes.
So that's a lot of clicking around. You've paused the video while that's all happening?
Yes, so you can decide. I like to start with the bright spots with those. Or if I see, hey, this is really making subject matter comprehensible. So I might want to say, I really like how you did this, but I'm going to come over and also mark making subject matter comprehensible for students because it fits in both.
So I can keep the video paused as long as I need it
Yes.
while I'm writing my comment, clicking on bright spot, or can you do bright spot and these too if you wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So we go through the video doing that,
Mm-hmm.
Annotating it. Students done it. We've done it.
So
What happens then?
So once they've annotated, then you have 24 to 48 hours to reply back to them. And the one thing that I found was it was really important for me to make hard deadlines for students because they would just video whenever, then they would update it. And then, so we have to show progress over time. So I said, this is the day I would normally come out and see you face to face. This is the day you have to video.
Right.
And you have to have it annotated by midnight. Now, I know Jill likes to give them 24 hours. I found I had better experience if they annotated it in the evening. So I said, you're telling me when you want a video. So you decide when is a good time to video and annotate in that evening. Because your mind's going to be sharpest if you've talked about it right after you did it.
Okay.
And then you have 24 hours to 48 hours to respond back to their...
From the time that they annotate.
Yes, from the time that they annotate.
Okay. And then
everything is time stamped because we want to show progress over time, and so we want to make sure that they're getting in over those 8 weeks, those 3 times.
So then the idea would be the student would go back in and see what you wrote.
Yep, and then they print that, and that is their feedback that they get to upload to TaskStream. You don't have to write out reflection form. They don't have to write out you don't have to do a formative assessment. They don't have to write out a reflection form. It's all just uploaded right to TaskStream.
Okay. And do the students know that?
We've told them in clinical practice. Probably wouldn't hurt for you to remind them as
the
a supervisor.
Okay. Good. And then it just stays here?
Yep. It will live there
and
until
it's over. And then do I do the final evaluation like the old-fashioned way?
Final evaluation is using the formative assessment and then providing a reflection, and then they upload that to TaskStream.
But I'm not doing the midterm evaluation, right? This is serving as that.
You are doing the midterm evaluation.
Okay.
That comes to you from the fieldwork supervisor.
Okay. Okay.
And then you see there's some tabs at the top, just resources, observations, huddle discussions, activity. Those are just places you can get in and play around. This does so much more than we have even started to do things with, but it's fun just to see what each little thing does. If you go back to the home button.
Up here.
You'll see that there's the analytics and the coaching tracker. Mm-hmm. So if you're just wondering, have they even been in to SIBME, you can click on those and see what they've been doing. I did have a problem with a student who uploaded a video, and I put in the wrong student name, and so I had the wrong huddle, so they had nowhere to put it. So it just kind of was housed in the SIBME house for a bit. So you just have to make sure as soon as you hear who your student is, develop a huddle for them.
Okay. Well, good. What would I do if I have other questions?
You want to reach out to your fieldwork coordinator, because they are the ones who are making sure everything is uploaded from SIBME to our platform and that everyone's emails are addressed. So the fieldwork coordinator would be your first person to reach out to.
Okay. Well, thanks. That's helpful.
Good. You're welcome.